The best way to get started in real estate investing is learning how to wholesale real estate. I am super jacked up to the moon today to be talking about a topic I am super passionate about. If you are interested in getting started in real estate and you're asking yourself, man, I want to learn how to invest in real estate, Troy, how do I get started? What would my answer be? My answer would be you need to become a wholesaler. I'm going to tell you exactly how to wholesale real estate, how you can make tens of hundreds of $1,000s a month doing it, how massive amounts of people make millions of dollars a year doing this. If you haven't seen it, check out my video about Casey Ryan. He's a super phenomenal wholesaler, and I'm gonna teach you step by step how you can become a wholesaler, how you can get started in real estate. And you know what the best part about being a wholesaler is? You don't need no money, you don't need nothing but a burning desire to do it. Do you know what wholesaling real estate is? Tell me if you do. Comment below, let me know what you know what it is. Let me know if you think you know what it is. I want to know what all your comments are. Tell me how much money you think you could make per month wholesaling, because I'll tell you what, if you're making less than $5,000 a month, if you're making less than $10,000 a month, if you're making less than $15,000, $20,000 a month, that is a real easy possibility when you wholesale real estate. Wholesaling is the best place to start in real estate because it requires no money, as I just told you before, and you get to learn the most basic fundamental skill set of real estate, which is buying properties at a deep discount, finding value, extracting that value, and this is a skill set that you will need throughout your entire real estate career. And the wholesaling is the basics and it's the entry-level part of it, but you can scale this business and stay in it and make millions of dollars a year doing it. I got my start in 2013 really wholesaling a lot with my good buddy Christian Nard, the Storage King. If you haven't watched my videos on the Storage King part 1 and part 2, make sure you watch those videos. Chris and I started wholesaling, and look at us now. He owns a bunch of storage places. I got 350 units. This is where you start. It's a great place to start. A wholesaler finds properties, negotiates a price on the properties, and acts as the middleman to selling that property to an investor. So what they're going to do is they're going to start by driving for dollars. If you haven't watched our video on driving for dollars, make sure you watch it. It's a great video. But they start by driving for dollars or combing properties that are in distress, right? And they find people who want to sell their property. They negotiate the property, they negotiate the price, they negotiate everything in the contract. They sign that contract with that seller. The wholesaler signs the contract with the seller. That contract needs to be assignable. That contract is then sold. The paper of the contract is sold and assigned. So the wholesaler makes a fee by the amount of money that they negotiated the piece of property for and the amount that they sell it to the investor, that they assign it to the investor. The assignment fee is what this is called. So it's not really a sales because they're not selling anything. They're assigning it, and for that, they get an assignment fee. Definitely, if you're gonna get into wholesaling, number one is you wanna make sure that you have a good contract, and we're gonna link to our contracts that you can use. Obviously, I recommend that you always run everything by an attorney and that you make sure that this meets your local regulations, your state regulations, and that you consult a legalese, because guess what? I'm just supplying you stuff that we've used in the past, and things change, rules change, and you need to make sure that you're comfortable with your state laws. But you're gonna need two contracts. You're gonna need a purchase and sale agreement between you, the wholesaler, and that could be in an LLC, can be a sole proprietor, it needs to be a legal person or a legal entity. And that contract is one part. That's the purchase and sale agreement. And in the purchase and sale agreement, you're gonna need to have certain clauses. You're gonna need an assignment contract. That's gonna be an agreement between you, the wholesaler, and the investor. So you're going to supply both of those contracts to the closing agent. We'll get into that more. But basically, those are the two contracts you're going to need. You need a purchase and sale agreement, and you're going to need an assignment contract, and we're going to give you both of them. All you got to do is comment below, say you want it, and then we'll make sure we send you a link. Wholesalers are a vital component to drumming up business of deals that are out on the street. They're off-market properties. They are an important part to investing in real estate. They make money from the price of the property that they negotiated for. So let's use a real life example. Let's say they negotiated a purchase and sale agreement for $100,000. The property was worth $150,000, and it needed a little bit of work done on it, just a small amount of work, $10,000, and the end investor is going to flip it for $175,000, right? So that wholesaler says, you know what? I'm willing to sign my rights to this contract for $5,000. And the other investor does his deal, says, you know what, I can make a profit on that fee. I can pay the wholesaler their fee. They make the assignment fee between the amount of money that they got the contract for and the amount assigned the contract for. So the amount of money they assigned that contract for, that's their spread. What things do you need to get started as a wholesaler, right? You need willpower, you need desire, you need a good, strong mental capacity, and you need to have an eye for deals, right? Where are the deals? Deals are in distress. Why would somebody want to sell a house that they live in, that they are perfectly comfortable in, that they're raising their family in? They won't want to. So as a wholesaler, you need to have the following. You need to have a contract. You need to have a purchase and sale contract. You need to have an assignment contract, to have knowledge of the market, and you need to have buyers to sell your contracts to. And you also need a CRM to keep track of all the clients, all the leads that you have. You also need a skip tracing platform. I suggest using Deal Machine. It has all of that. So that's what you need. You need to be able to drive for dollars. You need some gas money. You need some contracts. And then you need to pick up the phone and start contacting people. That's what you need to get started. Now, this is what Deal Machine is going to tell you. Deal Machine is going to tell you that you need to at least get 200 leads in your system. So I'm going to go with that number and say you need to, within 1 month, drive at least 200 homes and put them in your CRM. Go throughout your property, throughout the area you're in, go find a market that you can wholesale in and go drive properties in that area and load them up into your CRM. You need to be on the streets. You need to be driving through neighborhoods, and you need to know neighborhoods, and you need to know what signs to look for. Tall grass, dead grass, windows broken, boards on windows, buildings burnt halfway down. Signs of distress is what you need. You want to find absentee owned property from people who live out of state. The investment went bad, something went bad. Maybe they inherited the property. They don't want nothing to do with it. They haven't done anything with it. They don't plan to do anything with it. And the phone call alone is going to get them to possibly take action. The cool thing about Deal Machine, and the reason I like it so much, is we didn't have this crap when I first started wholesaling. You couldn't go around, drive for dollars on your phone. You had to write everything down. We literally had sheets of paper. I know this is like this is 8 years ago. We had sheets of paper, and then more recently it was sheets of notes on your iPhone. But now you can just literally load your Deal Machine app. You drive around, it's got a GPS following you along with parcels, and you click on that parcel, take a picture of it. Check out my Driving for Dollars video, but take a picture of it. Voila, it sends that person a postcard, says, Troy wants to buy your house. And now the people who are gonna call you are gonna call you. Now you found a house, you've mailed them, you got 200 postcards out, you're getting into your deal, and you're starting to go, man, nobody wants to sell their house, everybody tells me they're attached to it, everybody tells me it's their mother's, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all, okay? This is called sales, right? If you wanna become a super salesperson, you need to pay attention. people are going to have their guard up when you call their personal phone and they don't know who you are. Here's a suggestion for you. Act like you know them. Hey Bill, Troy here. I know you weren't expecting my call, but I just was passing by your house. I just was in the neighborhood. I sent you a postcard. I never heard back from you. I know your house isn't for sale, but I sure love that property. I'd love to buy it. Would you mind showing me around the property? Do you have any plans for the property? What are you gonna do with that property? I usually like to ask that question. It's an open-ended question. What are your plans for that property? What do you intend to do with that property? They might say, hey, that's none of your business. But I call them by their first name. So maybe their guard's down. Maybe I could say, you know what? I really like that property. Always start with a compliment, get into there and ask them, would you ever consider selling that property? Because I would like to invest in it. Can we arrange a time to go look at the property? If you ever get the question, how much are you willing to pay for it? Don't ever answer that, because the first person who talks loses, right? If you start talking numbers and they say, you know what? If I could get X number of dollars and you know it's a great deal, you know what? Let's get the contract out, let's sign the deal. But the idea of cold calling and prospecting is to set an appointment to meet that prospect at the property and negotiate a deal, and for you to see what you're buying and see it on the inside and be able to walk with that person and point out stuff that is gonna cost money to fix, so that when you go down and negotiate the price, that he understands, she understands why you are getting it for a discount, and that, you know what, you don't need to go into so much detail about, hey, you know what, I'm buying these properties for a profit. That's what I do. That's how I make a living. You just need to say, listen, I got to make money here too. I'm fixing this property up too. And they need to understand there's costs of selling properties. It's cost of doing business. And you have to be able to buy the property for a fair price that makes sense for you. If you're an agent, you need to represent that you are an agent, that you are not, and honestly, if you're an agent and you're wholesaling, I think it's just bad form. Just don't do it. If you're in a different state, it's a different deal. If you're in your same state, I don't think your local board or license is gonna like that, okay? When I wholesaled, I was doing it in Louisiana, right? So I would recommend it if you're in a different state and you're an agent, maybe, but I would probably say check with your broker. They're probably gonna say no. So be strongly aware of what your local laws as an agent are and what things do you need to disclose in addition to what I mentioned, okay? Because you do not want to get in trouble with the Fed, because you're going to be saying, hey, as a real estate agent, you know more than this guy that you're buying his property from, and you took advantage of him because of that. So, you know, one of the best tools that people are using right now, they're using automated text messaging. Hey, this is Ryan, can I buy your property at blah, 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 blah street? Or ringless voicemail, right? You got a voicemail, your phone never rings, you saw that there was a missed call, but I'm like, I didn't miss this call. And guess what? It's Troy Kearns. Hey, I just missed you. I'm sorry I missed your call, but I'm interested in buying your property. Call me back, call me back, call me back. Those are the tools that you're gonna need to get started, but I will tell you this over and over and over and again. If the tools are not gonna make you successful, you are gonna make yourself successful. The tools are going to help you become more successful. We're at the end. I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna talk about how you're gonna get paid. You're gonna get your first deal. You're gonna watch this video. You're gonna take a business plan. You're gonna watch the other video from Ryan Haywood. You're gonna watch the other video from Casey Ryan. You're gonna watch the video about driving for dollars. You're gonna comment below. We're gonna send you a contract. You're gonna take the deal machine link that we gave you with 20 free buckaroos, and you're gonna take action today, right? So how am I gonna get paid, Troy? Because I made this huge investment in commenting on your channel. I made this huge investment in liking your channel. How am I getting paid for doing all this stuff, right? I'm gonna tell you. So there's an interesting component that I'm glad you stayed till the end that you must understand. Whoever you work for as your closing agent, your escrow company, must understand wholesaling. And before you wholesale, you must understand this. Start with the end in mind. Before you do all of what I just told you, and you're gonna become a wholesaler, and as you're getting those 200 deals loaded into the system, prior to doing all of that, at that point in time, what you are doing is you are advertising on Craigslist and other sites like Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. You are scrolling through Facebook groups and Craigslist, and you are finding investors and you are seasoning those investors. What does that mean? You're making sure that these investors actually buy properties. What do I mean by that? You're a new wholesaler. You don't have any deals. They don't care. People who, like myself, who want deals, want to be on lists where they receive deals, okay? They are happy to be vetted, okay? So you need to be willing to vet your buyers list, right? So that's the most important part of this whole video, and that's why you stay to the end. You need to build your buyers list before you get started so that you can get paid. So that when you go and you get your first contract, you already have the buyer vetted, which area he wants, what he's gonna buy, and that he's closed deals, right? And you vetted that, okay? So that when you go and you vetted your closing agent so that they're okay with wholesaling properties, right? So when you got your contract that you're gonna go assign to this investor over here, the closing agent is gonna take the seller and they're gonna take the investor, okay? And they're going to say, seller, come here, sign your paper. Buyer, come here, bring your money and sign your papers. Then they're gonna cut you a check for your assignment fee and you're gonna get paid. And that's why you need to start wholesaling real estate today. Peace.